Okay, this is a video to help you out with 8.1a, solving equations with square roots. Now, to solve equations with square roots, we talked about this in class, we need to do the inverse operation. Since all these equations involve square roots, the inverse operation of that would be squaring. So what we're going to try to do is get the square root, or the radical, on one side of the equal sign and everything else on the other, and then square both sides, and then get x by itself. Let's start with problem number 1. Number 1 is pretty simple. The radical is on the left side all by itself, and the 1 or everything else is already on the right side by itself. So the only thing we have to do is square both sides. Now, when we square the square root of x, it leaves us with x. And 1 squared is 1. So x equals 1 is our final answer. Let's look at a little bit more complicated one. We'll do number 7. Now on the left side of the equal sign we have a radical, but we also have a minus 3. We want to get that minus 3 to the right side. We do that by adding 3 to both sides. After doing that, we have the square root of x equals 8. And now that we have the radical on one side of the equal sign and everything else on the other, we can square both sides. Square the square root of x and square 8. Square root of x squared is just x. 8 squared is 64. Final answer is x equals 64. Finally, they even get a little bit more complicated than that. A couple extra steps. Let's take a look at 13. Again, we want to get the radical by itself, everything else on the other side of the equal sign. So we have a positive 11 on the left side. Let's get rid of that first. Subtract 11 from both sides. That cancels on the left, and it leaves us with 2 times the square root of x equals, and 19 minus 11 is 8. Now we need to get the radical by itself, so let's divide both sides by 2. The 2's on the left cancel out and leaves us with just the square root of x. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. Once we have the radical by itself on the left side, we can square both sides. The square root of x squared is just x. 4 squared is 16. And that is our final answer.